Hello, AP Chemistry. Just wanted to touch base with you guys. It's been a week or so. Hopefully, you're doing well with your little quarantine, finding some things to keep yourself busy. I have a couple things to help keep you busy over the next month or so. We still have our AP exam. You guys probably are familiar. Some of that information has probably been coming directly to you from College Board. So I just want to kind of go over some of that information, maybe clarify a few things. Our exam, our AP exam, is scheduled for Thursday, May 14th for chemistry again. And we are looking at an Eastern time of 2 o'clock. So we've got almost, well, it is exactly 1 month from now. And I've kind of scheduled some of the work, which I'll get into in just a moment, to kind of fit that timeline. So that's what we're looking at. As far as how the exam will go, I've been getting some information trickling through to me recently, which is something's pretty interesting. Let me go over to, let's see, I think it's down over here with the exam security stuff. Two things in here. As far as the exam will go, or how the exam will go, it's going to actually be open book, open note, which sounds fantastic. You'll have a lot of resources available to you. But of course, you only have so much time to work with. There is a lot of security things they're putting in place. They don't actually tell me what that is. I mean, there's some things that are mentioned here that, if they find you cheating, well, of course, you're going to get a zero. If you do it legitimately, no worries. You're going to have open book, open notes, things like that. You can kind of read through here. I don't want to use all my time for doing this, but go ahead and take a look through here in regards to security and kind of how it will play out. For the actual, let me go back here. For the actual exam, the way it will kind of work is we go down to science for chem. It's going to be two questions, and question one, question two, and again, you can read through here as far as how it will be formatted through, but pretty interesting. There's just pretty much FRQs, so we've had a lot of practice with those, but go through and make sure you're familiar with how this is going to work. All right, so for preparations for that, I keep bouncing over here to our classroom. I've told you about this before. I've given you these 7 units that will be on the exam. We've covered all the content, so now it's just your responsibility to kind of go through here and start doing the work. Okay. If you're not familiar how to get in there, I've gone back over to our class web page. And if you look just onto the home page, you have these join codes that'll get you into Google Classroom. So if you have those, you can put it into Google Classroom, AP Classroom. And if you go over to AP site, you can kind of work your way through there. Okay. Now, a couple of changes the district is working on. They're going through this idea of having assigned work now for fourth quarter. Third quarter is done, and they're not still definite as far as the amount of work that is going to go. Really decided exactly what this is going to look like, but my interpretation of what they've told me so far is that you're going to have an option of like credit and no credit based upon what you do. This is my thinking as far as how we're going to go through this. You are required to do work each of these little time periods. So this, for example, we've already done units 1 through 2. I'm not going to put a timeline and say it's past due or anything like that. They just all need to get done between now and the AP exam for me. So you've had 1 and 2. I'm assigning now before this date here, units 3 and 4 to go through the multiple choice. So again, if you go over to classroom, you can go into units 1, 2, 3, or 4 and pull information up. At the bottom, you'll have these FRQs and multiple choice. I can go through and based on you doing those and see who has and who hasn't done them. And then, of course, I will give you a grade, what that grade looks like. It'll just be like any other assignment. I'll just kind of scale it in there as far as what I should be able to expect for it. But yeah, you do need to kind of go through those and do some work. If you don't, it's going to turn into like a credit, no credit kind of thing. And I'll tell you right now, as far as the school year goes, everyone's going to get credit. But there's a lot of little details in there that I just don't know. The district hasn't told us anything yet. So if you have any questions in regards to this or that for grading, I can tell you right now my answer is I don't know. But that's all I have for you. If you have any other questions, feel free to give me a holler, send me an email. I'll get back to you really quick. But again, these are our assignments for the next 2 weeks. And one last thing I can leave you with, something a little funny. I thought, anyways. So you can.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B.
I thought that was kind of funny. If you've been stuck in your house for the last month or so, maybe you're feeling that way too. Okay. Again, if you have any questions in the next couple of weeks, anytime,